Martin. I am the CEO and instructor of Jumpstart with Jewel LLC. We provide tutoring and educational support services to adult and adolescent students. Students that may have ADHD, autism, dyslexia, any medical issues that would prevent a student, adolescent, or adult from being in a traditional learning environment or affects them from learning, prevents them rather from learning effectively in a traditional environment. Any student that has any type of uh, issue or a special need, anything of that nature, we help those students. So welcome to today's mini lesson today. So we've been working with fractions for the past 2 to 3 weeks, I guess. And we're still on fractions. Fractions is very involved, very comprehensive. And so today, we did a little bit of this yesterday. We're doing a little bit of it now. Let me fix my screen. My screen is not right. Here we go. So what we're going over today, I don't know why that keeps blinking like that. What we're going over today is still fraction word problems, simplifying. This time we're going to be simplifying. If you know anything about fractions, if you've heard anything about fractions, reducing fractions, simplify to the lowest terms, it is the same thing. And all that basically means is that once you solve your problem, whether you have to add or subtract or just write the fraction down, it needs to be simplified. The fraction that you have is most likely too big, and it needs to be made smaller. It needs to be reduced, so the numbers will get smaller. Simplified, simple. It'll be a little more easier to understand, and that's all what simplifying means. But in simplifying, that usually means that you're going to have to divide. If you've ever seen equivalent fractions, hey there on Facebook, how are you? If you've ever seen or done fractions where you see a title where it says make equivalent fractions. When you're making equivalent fractions, you're going to be multiplying. You're going to be making them bigger. Simplifying, reducing them, makes them smaller. So here on the screen, I also have some tips for completing word problems. Word problems, as I shared with you all yesterday, word problems, a lot of students do not like word problems. Adult students, adolescent students, they just don't care for word problems. There's something about them. The words, sometimes there's information that's not really clear. You have to really think about what you're reading. Sometimes people will say, oh, they're tricky. But if you take your time and follow these steps, it will make the process of doing word problems easier. So for instance, the first one I always tell people is read the entire problem. Do not speed read. If you are a speed reader, I am one of those. If you have a lot of things to do, a lot of work, a lot of homework, you got to hurry up and get this done, hurry up and get that done. You have a issue where you may be speed reading. Hey, Nikki, how you doing? It's good to see you. Where you're a speed reader. You just, let me hurry up and read this. And when you're doing word problems, if you speed read, you will miss something. You're going to miss something important. You're going to miss a key word. You're going to miss a piece of information. Or you'll read some information and you'll think that it's important and it really isn't. So just take your time, read the entire problem. The second tip is to pay attention to the numbers in the problem. Some people underline the numbers, some people circle them, they may highlight them. Pay attention to the numbers in the problem. Those are numbers that are there in numeric form as well as the numbers that are in written form, in word form. Pay attention to the numbers, okay? The third tip is to imagine the word problem as a picture in your mind, as a picture or as a scene. If you think about it as something that you can see in your mind, it will make more sense. Trust me. That may sound a little weird. Maybe you've never heard of it like that, but if you can picture it in your mind as something that somebody is doing, it will make more sense, okay? Number 4, write it out or draw it out if necessary. Some word problems are very simple. You'll read it, and as soon as you read it, you may know the answer. Others, you may have to write them out. You may have to draw a few little pictures. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be an artist or anything, but just draw a box or draw a circle, whatever it's about, to help you understand. And the last tip is to reread the problem if necessary. A lot of times I tell my students, read the problem twice. A lot of times when I have a student and we're doing word problems and we read the problem, they'll tell me what to do, or they'll do the actual adding or subtracting, and if they have it wrong, I say, nope, you have to go back. Let's reread this because we missed something. So we just have 3 problems today, just like we did yesterday. Let me do something here. Okay, so we'll read this one. The first problem says Daniel brought his bag of marbles and found that 4 of his 24 marbles are blue. What fraction of Daniel's marbles is blue? So this one is pretty simple. It's already telling you. Let me get my pen. He found that 4, and we're underlining the numbers, of his 24 marbles are blue. So what fraction of marbles are blue? So it's pretty simple. It's telling you right there, 4 of his 24. You know that 4 is going to be the numerator. The numerator, the number on top, is always the number that we're talking about. The number, if you're doing a shape, it's the part that's shaded in. And then the denominator, the 24 in this example, is the total number of items. Or if you're talking about a shape, it will be the total number of parts. So it's 4 out of 24. When you look at a fraction like this, and this should be when you look at all of your fractions, you need to find out, or let's look at it and see, can it be simplified? Can this number be reduced? 4 out of 24. Can this be reduced? It can. Numbers, fractions can be reduced or simplified if they have a common factor. If they have a common factor, a greatest common factor, a GCF, if you've ever heard of that, greatest common factor. And what that is a number that you can divide the numerator and the denominator by to make the fraction smaller. So if you're looking at it, 4 out of 24, and if you know your multiplication facts, the GCF, of course, the greatest common factor that they have in common is the 4, the number 4 itself. You've got a 4 up here in the numerator, and 24 is in the denominator. So all you would do would be divided the numerator by 4 and the denominator by 4. Excuse me. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. And then 24 divided by 4 is 6. So the answer, once you simplify this, the answer is 1/6. So 1 out of 6 of the marbles that Daniel has is blue. 1 out of 6. If you ever watched a TV commercial and they talk about, 1 out of 2 adults choose such and such. That's ratio, but ratio are also fractions as well. So it's been reduced. Uh-oh, my thing is moving. Move that up. Let me erase that. I wasn't supposed to do that. Let me fix this right quick. And then we'll go to our next one. Let me just put that back. Okay. I don't know why I did that, but I'll fix it. Let's try again. Ooh, 1 out of 6. Okay. Put my pen back on. Uh-oh, I have some technical issues over here. Okay, so number 2. Ryan also brought his bag of marbles. Of his 30 marbles, 10 are also blue. What fraction of Ryan's marbles is blue? So here we go again. It's telling us right then and there, of his 30 marbles, so he has 30 in all, 10 of them are blue. So very simple. You will put 10 over 30. But once again, you look at this fraction and you say, can this fraction be simplified? Can it be smaller? Do we leave it as 10 out of 30? You would simplify this. What is the greatest common factor in 10 and in 30? Common factors. Factors, if you remember, factors are the numbers that you multiply together to get the answer, also known as the product. So the greatest common factor of 10 and 30 is going to be 10. If you think about 10, your 10 facts, or think about skip counting by 10, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and so forth. So our GCF, our greatest common factor, is going to be 10. So we would divide the numerator and the denominator by 10. 10 divided by 10 is going to be 1, and 30 divided by 10 is going to be 3. So the final answer is going to be 1/3. 1/3 of the marbles that Ryan has are blue. 1/3, okay? And then the last one, I'm having some real technical issues over here. Okay, Troy also brought a bag of marbles. Of his 40 marbles, 20 are red. What fraction of Troy's marbles are blue, or excuse me, is blue? Okay, so same thing. It's just 20. You see your numbers there, 20 over 40. Same thing. You look at the fraction and you say, you know what? Can this fraction be reduced? It can be. It can be reduced. So what is the GCF of 20 and 40? What is the greatest common factor of 20 and 40? If you know your multiplication facts, if you know about 20, 20, 40, 60, or even if you're doing your multiplying, 20 times 1 is 20, 20 times 2 is 40, and so forth. You know that the GCF, the greatest common factor, is going to be 20. So we would divide the numerator and the denominator by 20. Okay. So 20 divided by 20 is 1. And then 40 divided by 20, how many times can 20 go into 40? It's going to be 2, because you know 20 times 2 is 40. And so this answer went from 20 over 40 to 1/2. So simplifying, again, reducing, makes the fraction smaller. We went from 20 out of 40 to 1/2. Same thing above here. We went from 10 out of 30 to 1/3. Simplifying and reducing always makes your fractions smaller. Equivalent fractions makes them bigger. Equivalent fractions makes them bigger, so you multiply. When you're simplifying fractions or reducing them, you're dividing them, so you make them smaller. Okay? So I hope that was helpful. I hope you all have an awesome, awesome day. Take care, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye-bye.